So we are going to make the tier list for mists, boys. I have prepared, how many weapons is this? 4, 8, 11, so 33 weapons we are going to count. We are not going to put a lot of weapons in S tier. I want to have maximum like 3 to 4 weapons in S tier. We will have multiple weapons in A tier. The B and C will probably be filled with weapons which are not that much played, and then I will put D, E and F on weapons which are actually dog shit. And I also prepared this lovely thingy, which is, let's call it a measurement for the weapon being actually in meta, which is how much skill it requires, how much fun you have by playing that weapon, or you can have by playing that weapon, if it has escape potential, if it has dismounting potential, and variability. How many counters you have, how many stuff you counter, if you can use it with different chests, different boots, different helmets, different offhand, different capes, etc. So actually it's going to be enjoyable for you to play that weapon. So let's hide this and let's start with the tier list, boys. So boys, let's start with the Realm Breaker. We can put the Skitsar thingy back. Regarding the Realm Breaker, I don't think you need much skill for it to play. Basically, you are just Brawler and you need to make sure that your E is not gonna get cancelled. It is kind of fun weapon to play with, I would say, nearly no escape potential because your E is a little bit of movement, but it also stops you. So basically, you are immobile. You have just boots and W, which is either Adrenaline Rush or the dash thingy. So it has no escape potential, and if we count the dismounting potential, as soon as the enemy is not in your E range, you can't dismount anyone. Variability, pretty much non-existent. You either play it with Tena Jacket, Mistwalker Jacket, you can play with Tenacity Jacket, but I don't see that many Realm Breakers in Mist, so let's put it on like a D tier. It would definitely be higher if the E is non-cancelable. Okay, Bow of Badon. It is going to receive a massive buff in next patch. For those who don't know, in next patch, the Badon E is going to be non-reflectable by basically anything. It's going to be like a light crossbow E, one-handed curse E, blazing E, you just can't anyhow deflect it. You can increase your resistances versus it with the Inferno Shield, Mage Robe, etc. You can use Cleric Robe so you don't get damage, but the Badon is not going to receive any damage. So I think the Badon is going to be definitely one of the meta weapons in next patch, but it has to probably slightly change the chest piece it's going to be played on. It still can slap on Assassin Jacket, but I think with the E being non-reflectable, you don't need to take that much defensive, so maybe we will see a lot of face scale Badons, because imagine how tough or how hard would actually the E hit with the third part of the face scale ability. That's going to be an insane damage. In regards of fun, I didn't find a big fan of playing Badon. I actually enjoyed the Assassin Jacket version. Escape potential, I mean, in terms of 1v1, you can definitely escape. But apart from that, if your Assassin Jacket is on cooldown, you only have W, which is also interruptible by the way, and you have boots. So escape potential is definitely not high, and it's not going to change after the next patch. Dismounting potential, if you have Purity Caval, you can dismount pretty much anything if you hit EQ into Purity Caval, possibly pairing it with Poison Pot. If we speak Badon in terms of current patch, it's definitely not going to be S tier, and I would not even give it on A tier. So let's put Badon, let's put it for like a next patch, boys, okay? Next patch. I think the Badon is going to be somewhere between S to A tier. I'm still eager how the Badon will be played in next patch, if there will be more played Badons with the helmet or with the Armor of Valor, or if we will see more Clawfish, kinda like one-shot Badons with Purity Caval and Face Scale Rope. Let's go next, Claymore. This is super easy because there is a reason why we don't see many high-tier Claymore players. I think Claymore is somewhere in more towards like a niche weapon. Main bad part about Claymore, mainly after the recent Claymore patch, is firstly, your E targets everyone it is passing, similar to carving. So let's say if you want to finish someone with E, you will finish him, but if the red who is going to finish you is gonna stand in between you two guys, you are in combat with the red and you are also dismounting the red. The next bad thing is it's quite teleported, so versus a good players who have any kind of defensive, dodge or ready giga potion, they can pop it on the right time. Also it's stack related, not as a carving. Carving deals only stack related pierce. Of course, the damage after the carving E is coming afterwards, so more stacks you have, the bigger damage the E does. But with Claymore, you need to be careful about your 3 stacks. That's why I'm definitely not going to put it higher than, I would say, B probably. Let's go to the easiest weapon from all of the tier list, Carving Sword. How many nerfs did Carving received in past year? 1. Buffs. Your Q has a range. Only thing which is bad about swords is you are losing stacks when you mount up, but there is like no negativity about swords. You can bravel, you can kite, you deal unga bunga damage, you can legit just close your eyes and keep finishing the enemy. It's perfect for IP abusing, uh, works in lower tier, it's not that expensive set, you can play it even in cheap versions. I legit don't see any negative part about carving. But if we look at the painting, skill, it requires nearly to no skill. There are matchups where you need to kite with your E, there are matchups where you need to catch up with your E, there are matchups where you need to use W where you hold the enemy away from you, there are matchups where you need to use W where you need to catch up with the enemy, but apart from that, absolutely zero skill needed. Everyone with more than 2 brain cells can play carving and earn money. It's one of the easiest weapons for mists. If some newbie asks me what he should play, I say dual swords, bat legs, carving, one-handed fire, wildfire, and bracers, because it's easy to play. Okay, regarding the fun, I think the only fun as a carving player you have is actually being toxic to your enemies, dealing way higher damage than anything in the game apart from fire stuff users, and just running everyone over. Escape potential, pretty nice. Your ability space you out, E space you out, you can keep your stacks with Q, you have boots, you are tanky AF because you are most of the time using pure mist snapper, you even have undead cape. I think the escape potential is pretty nice. It's not the best in the game, but it's definitely up there. Dismounting potential, pretty nice. You pop your boots, you splitting slash that guy, you keep Qs. If he gets away without you dismounting him, you use E. If you dismount the guy, you use E on the already dismounted guy. It has one of the best dismounting potentials in the game, definitely. Variability, not that high. Only one super different carving build I saw in past year on West or Europe server, which actually slapped and I'm still eager to try it, was Keeper Cape, Stalker Hood, Mage Robe carving. That is the only other variability apart versus Tenacity Jacket and Mistwalker Jacket carving. But still, how easy the carving is to play, how not big amount of counter picks are there against you, it is definitely S tier. And it will stay there forever until it will get nerfed. But it's hard to nerf carving because it's used in every content in the game as a main weapon. Okay, let's go to Double Bladed, boys. Double Bladed was S tier since the mists were created. Like legit, mists began to exist and Double Bladed was S tier. It has the best dismounting potential, best escape potential, best catching potential. It has nice variability. You don't care about reds that much. You can get in and out of fight by just using one, maybe two buttons. But finally, finally, few months ago, they nerfed it basically to the ground. E has different cooldown. W, as soon as you stun, is not giving you another move speed. So finally, the Double Bladed is not an S tier for at least 2 months. If you check the skill, if you compare it, let's say, with Carving, Double Bladed is actually harder to play than Carving. You need to go in, make sure that the enemy has no defensives, and then still keep something to kite out. You need to dodge certain abilities so you don't get let's say, stunned by hammer, splitting slashed by carving, so he eventually catches up with you. So it's somewhere in middle. In the fun department, before the patch, it was nice. You could have been toxic to anything. You could have literally just make someone quit the mist by just following him constantly. As soon as he turned, you could have always run away. Versus anything. You pop omelette, then you are good to go. Escape potential still pretty nice. Not the versus that many players as it used to be. Dismount potential, one of the best in games. Variability, not that high. You can't really play Brawling Double Bladed. You can't really slap it with Infernal Shield or Mercenary Jacket. Mistwalker Jacket is basically useless because Double Bladed has no damage. So you need to play it on Stalker Jacket. After the changes, yes, some people will use Armor of Valor. Maybe we will see some Soldier Armor Double Bladed, but it definitely has not that high variability as some other weapons we will see in the tier list. So I think Double Bladed is right now somewhere as A- or B+. As I am a big hater of Double Bladed players, I'm gonna put it on B. Okay, let's go Bear Paws. I'm putting Bear Paws in tier list for one sole reason. You can gank with it. And there are still some newbies who enjoy having not one bat legs, but two bat legses, which make you jump in forward with your E, and they enjoy the weapon. That's why I'm putting it there. That's the only reason. Because bear paws are like close to unplayable in mists. It's good for ganking low tier players, it's good for ganking gatherers, it's good for actually using and going into uncommon, rare, epic, legendary wisps to catch up players who are going there from black zone and don't have actually the escape potential of regular mist players or don't have the 1v1 potential of mist players. But as soon as you want to go for a fair 1v1, bear paws are not even A tier. You miss your E, you are fucked for 30 seconds. You brawl worse than Batlex, and it's even more expensive. You can play the Helmet of Valor Mistwalker Jacket, you can play Inferno Shield there, you can play Fiend Caval, yeah, of course, as an alternative to Helmet of Valor, but everyone knows that I'm a big fan of Helmet of Valor. It's like the better Fiend Caval, you just need more skill to use it. But there were some people who are playing high tier bear paws in West server. I so far never saw a single high tier bear paws in Europe Mists, and I think the reason for that is not only expensive to play, but if you pair it carving, carving goes with his E through bear paws E. Carving dealt damage, dealt pierce, has normal cooldown. Bear paws miss the E and have no damage, no cooldown. Same with dead givers, same with dual swords, same with claymore, same with double bladed. Like anything that has a slight mobility is a counter to bear paws. If you keep that one mobility spell to dodge first bear paws E, you won. That's how easy it is. You can play tier 8 carving and win versus 8-3 bear paws if you don't bravel him and dodge his E's. Simple as that. If I have to decide, I would put bear paws on like C tier. It's definitely worse than claymore, definitely worse than double bladed in terms of any kind of fighting, and is also expensive. Okay, boltcasters, let's not waste much time here. Nice PvE weapon, terrible clear if you compare it to a light crossbow. Basically, right now it is only playable in a cheesy harvester cap build. You even have a finisher for undead cape if you want, even versus pure mist users. If you go for full charged E, prog undead cape, you make sure that you have double Qs. You go QQ or you finish with poison if you still didn't use Giga Potion, but it's only playable in only one build. Dismounting potential, enemy can run away from your E, basically non-existent. Running away potential, non-existent. Variability, non-existent. Skill, no skill needed. It's a cheap version to basically bait the new players or high tier players who think that they have the right defensives and they fuck up. So sorry boys, but I can't put dead giver boltcasters on same spot as a claymore or double bladed. I would put them somewhere on realm breaker and bear paw spot because it has one way to live in mists, and still it's pretty hard to make money with boltcasters as you can't run away from anyone. Dead givers, super easy decision guys. It is definitely S tier. Only thing it is that actually, oh wait, sorry, Broadcaster 30. If we speak about dead givers, they have everything you want. It is extremely fun weapon to play. As soon as you know how to play dead givers, it is very rewarding. It has high skill ceiling, tough to learn, but as soon as you get at least to some understandable skill part and you learn the dead givers to a certain degree, it is very rewarding and very fun to play. Escape potential, immense. You can use dash W, you can use shadow edge. Shadow edge is even an iframe if you use it right. You can use E through mobs. You have Q on dash. You have boots. So it has really nice escape potential. Dismount potential. As soon as someone enters close to your screen and still keeps going to you with with the mount, you hit shadow edge, that guy is dismounted. You don't need to use E stacked. Most of the time the guy will be dismounted. It is definitely not that easy to dismount guys on dead givers versus let's say carving or double bladed or any other purity caval users, but it has still high dismount potential. Variability, insane. You can play one shot dead givers. You can play plate dead givers on soldier armor. You can play Mistwalker Jockey Dead Givers, Mercenary Jockey Dead Givers, Dynasty Jockey Dead Givers. You can play Major of Dead Givers, you can play Cleric of Dead Givers. You can play Q1, you can play Assassin Q3, you can play Dashing Q, you can play Dashing W, Chain Slash W, Shadow Edge W. The possibilities are quite infinite. Dead Givers are and will last on S tier. Finally. Thank you, SBI. It's finally a fun weapon in S tier. Okay, let's go dual swords, boys. Dual swords can't be a S tier for one simple reason. There is already carving. Carving is insanely better than dual swords. Carving can go parry versus dual swords E, or even easier, dual swords are jumping with their E, you just use your carving E. So you dealt damage, you dealt pierce. Duals miss their E, they did no damage, they have no buff. Yes, they have earlier another E cooldown, but I already lost the trade by, if the IP is same, the build is same, the food is same, they already lost the trade by at least 1.5 bar. Good thing about dual swords is E has low cooldown, doesn't necessarily put you into combat because you are jumping away from the possible enemy and you are not losing stacks. But it has the same variability, dismounting potential, escaping potential as a carving, maybe even higher because if you E you are not losing your stacks, so probably better escape potential than a carving, but it's definitely harder to fight with dual swords if you compare it to carving, because carving can kite and damage at the same time, dual swords can choose. Am I going to damage or am I going to kite? If you use E away, you lost cooldown, but dealt no damage. With carving, you dealt damage. So let's put it on like A minus tier. Definitely better usage than Claymore. Fuck double bladed. I will put it somewhere in par with Badon. Maybe a little bit lower than Badon because of the versatility. Let's move to Great Hammer, boys. Great Hammer is right now probably one of the most mobile weapons in Mists. It was nearly always a high rated weapon with really nice versatility. Unluckily, after the next patch, the Stalker Jacket receives nerfs and it goes from 30 seconds to 40 seconds, which is actually insane nerf to Stalker Jacket users. One of them was Hammer, because he used the typical engage. You go E, you pop your Stalker Jacket, you go auto attack Q, to cancel your auto attack animation, you proc your Tedford Cape. As soon as the enemy wakes up and wants to use any kind of defense, you pop your W away, you dodge to the side, possible carving slash or any kind of stun or root, and you won the trade. If the guy wants to come back into you, you usually had a, let's say, Helmet of Valor to purchase boots, and no one can run away from you apart from a little bit of the weapons which is here. It has a really nice dismounting potential. It has really nice escaping potential, catching potential. Versatility right now is going to be on a very low level though, because you are not gonna see that much Great Hammers on Stalker Jacket, same with Bloodletters or any other Stalker Jacket users, and as it is not hard to play, and is also not that expensive setup, I would put it on S tier 2, because it has everything it needs. It's basically going to be a new double bladed. If I can put the Great Hammer in between, I would put it in between, because it's somewhere in like S minus A plus. It has to be high. So I don't want to put it on A tier, it's not clear S tier, it's somewhere in between. Let's go to Tomb Hammer. It's basically the same stuff as a Great Hammer, apart from your E has already low cooldown, you don't need to reset your E cooldown, but your E is no mobility. So it has a little bit tougher escaping potential if you don't want to put yourself in combat. If you want to put yourself in combat, it has even better escaping potential than Great Hammer, because the E has lower cooldown. Dismounting potential, I would say, is a little bit better than Great Hammer if you are actually hitting the E, but again, we are speaking, it's just the played version which is going to be viable in next patch, because the Stalker Jacket is going to be nerfed. Let's go. Tomb Hammer is not, I would not put it that high as a Great Hammer because of the potential of escaping without putting yourself in combat. Can I make A plus tier? Oh, I can. Okay. GGS. Let's go to Feasts of Ava, so we move a little bit faster again. Feasts of Ava are great weapon. I recently started to enjoy any kind of glows way higher than I used to enjoy the glows. Feast of Avalon has high skill ceiling. Good thing about E is that it can't get interrupted, but it's super telegraphed. You are in the air for a really long time. If, let's say, developers put the E on half cast time, like it's going to be faster, the Feast of Avalon would probably become S tier meta in Mists. But as it is that easily telegraphed, therefore easily dodgeable, it can't be S tier for now. In terms of fun, I think everyone who played Feasts, at least for a little bit, he had great fun. You have great mobility, nice dismounting potential, you have great escape potential, catching up potential. If you pair it with Tenacity Shoes, Assassin Jacket, Face Scale, etc., you have a great variety. So definitely they are fun to play. Dismounting potential, it's not the perfect. You need to hit the E. If you don't hit the E, you can't dismount anything. Variability is really nice. You can play high tier fist, you can play low tier fist. You can play Assassin Jacket, Face Scale, even Mistwalker Jacket version. You can play Cultist Caval, you can play Purity Caval, you can play Bob version. Pretty variable weapon to play. If I have to decide, in terms of Ava Fist, I think they are somewhere in terms of A plus in next patch, also in this patch. Let's put Ava Fist on A plus, and Ava Fist has greater potential of making mistake and still coming up on top, because Badon is all about W. Okay, let's go to Hellfire Hands. So if we look at the painting, I wrote there, skill ceiling, I would say with Tenacity Shoes the skill ceiling is not that high, because you no longer need to bait your enemy's deflects or parry abilities or any movement abilities, because you go in this for 1.5 seconds, you pop your E, you pop your W, and the enemy has no time to react. So the skill ceiling is still quite high, but definitely not higher than most of the weapons which are currently on the tier list. Really fun to play, really nice escape potential, dismount potential with the Royal Helmet, and Assassin Jacket is nice if you know how to use Tenacity Shoes, Assassin Jacket, and Royal Helmet at the right moment. Bad thing is, usually you need to go for full combo to dismount someone, and then you are lacking the potential escape. So if you want to go for a fair 1v1 and the guy just doesn't want to be dismounted, you are in a big fair of trouble as soon as you use everything. Variability, pretty much non-existent, I would say. I see only one way to play Hellfire Hands right now, and that's what I said. Royal Helmet, Assassin Jacket, Leather Shoes, or Tenacity Shoes on Tenacity Shoes spell. But let's put them A. Definitely not A+. Let's go to Bracers. No explanation needed. Best meta ever. I am not going to even explain that, boys. You play Bracers, print money. But let's be real. Skill, higher your skill, the better are the rewards. It can be played by a complete noob, because it's really safe to play. You play Assassin Jacket, Bob on Helmet, Leather Shoes if you have energy cost reduction, or you can play Mana Shoes. If you don't let someone purge your boots, nothing can catch you. It has a really nice dismount potential with E, W, Q, Poison, anything. You can even bait it with Tenacity Shoes, Assassin Jacket, etc. Escape potential, as I said, is already insane. Variability is not that high though. If you want to play it safe, you need to stick with Assassin Jacket, Mana Sandals, and Bob Helmet. Undead Cape, if you go higher tier. After the recent patch, which is the previous one we are speaking about, which was the last one, you can play Brawler Bracers to a certain degree, but I would still ideally see the Bracers being played as go in, go out, go in, go out. But let's be real, let's not put it that high, because I'm not gonna put it higher than Carving and Deadgivers. But in my eyes, Bracers are right now, I can't even put it on S tier though. I am big Bracer enjoyer though, boys. But we need to be honest, because Bracers are great in mists in terms of farming money. I think everything is killable on Bracers, but as soon as you meet a really, really good player, it's not that easy. It's not that easy anymore. With Tenacity Shoes, it gives you the slight chance of winning even hard matchups, which I learned in past streams, which you will see in my new Bracers videos, boys. But let's not put it on S tier. I would put it. Is it better than Avafist though? With Tenacity Shoes, I would say no. Good thing about Bracers is they have same cooldown. You hit, you don't hit, it has same cooldown on E. Varbo. Fuck them Varbo users. If Varbo had a good catching potential, dismount potential, escape potential, it would be higher. But right now, for me, in my eyes, Varbo is basically just a toxic weapon to play in mists. You can't kill anything that doesn't want you to be killed, and you will get killed by anyone who can purge your one boots. Basically, that's it. But I heard a lot of my viewers are enjoying Varbo, so I put it into the tier list. We can go through the skill ceiling. Varbo has actually nice skill ceiling. You need to kite, you need to dodge, you need to use your Assassin Jacket well, you need to be sure that your W is always hitting the enemy, so you are not only gaining the space, but you are also slowing the enemy. You need to hit your E's ideally max range, but as I said, the bad thing, you can kite forever. A tier 7 Varbo can kill 8-3 enemy, if the enemy will never get into him. But as soon as the 8-3 enemy says to him, why am I even chasing this Varbo? Why am I wasting my time? He turns, and if the Varbo wants to continue chasing, he has to use W into him. The guy just turns into him and the Varbo is dead. So, in my eyes, Varbo, fun, low-cost weapon to be toxic for a while. Definitely not playable for a lot of money in mists. So, let's put it to weird weapons. Behind Verpos. Verpos have better dismounting and they are actually good in killing otherers. Light crossbow hits like a truck. Everyone will agree with me that if light crossbow had better mobility on W spell or on Q spell or anything, it would be S tier. But right now, skill ceiling really high. You need to space up your defensive abilities. You need to space your abilities well. You need to make sure that you are hitting double Qs with the stacked passive. You need to be ready to save your E for undead cape users. You need to use Guardian Helmet well, Cleric Robe well. You need to be sure that when your Martel Cape is being procced, you are not also proccing, let's say, Guardian Helmet or Cleric Robe, and the enemy is actually on you, so you have at least some value of the Martel Cape. Fun. I like the Light Crossbow build. Most of the guys will probably say the same, like, it hits like a truck and it's insanely rewarding, but escape potential, pretty much non-existent if you don't want to put yourself in combat. Anything with just some dashes will eventually get into you. Dismounting potential, if you don't hit your E, if the enemy don't come into the E range, non-existent. Variability, non-existent, I would say. I don't think you can play light crossbow on anything else than this actual set right now. So let's decide where we are going to put the light crossbow. Definitely higher than B tier, yeah? Definitely not A plus tier. Let's put it on A tier, behind Hailfire Hands and behind Dual Swords. Let's go to Battle Axe, boys. Eugene's favorite and a lot of players' favorite. Battle Axe is going to be up, but not that up, and we will explain why. Regarding the skill, you don't need much skill for Battle Axe. It is one of the best brawlers in the game. You basically only need to hit your E. That's the only skill you need on Battle Axe. Fun? I would say if you play Battle Axe at the beginning, you will have fun killing players, but as soon as you go higher and higher tier, and you will see people actually dodging your E, kiting you, you not being able to get into them so they can deal damage, get out, deal damage, get out, you will eventually have less and less fun playing Battle Axe. Escape potential, if you're not playing the Mistcaller dashing W version, pretty much non-existent. If something wants to catch you, you need to fight. Good thing about Battle Axe is if something wants to catch you and fight you and it's let's say 1, 2, 3 tiers higher, there is a high chance that he will just decide to fuck off because you deal great damage. Dismount potential, okay-ish. It's not the best dismounting potential there, it's not the worst dismounting potential there, but if you hit your E's and the enemy gets closer, you are dismounting. I will explain why Battle Axe can't and will probably never be S tier. Bad thing is in mists, if we are speaking purely mist related. Reds are going to be your bane, mobility builds are going to be your bane. If you want to catch something, you have to purge its boots. If you purge its boots, that means he still has helmet, he still has his jacket. So if Battle Axe would have better catching potential or potential to escape from reds, it would be definitely higher. Right now, I think it's a solid A tier, it's definitely not A plus tier, in my eyes. One-handed dagger. Don't get me wrong, one-handed dagger is really rewarding, but in mists, you can get rated easily. There is so many reflex being played versus you. There is so many pure mist undead cape users where you need to keep Helmet of Valor to purge his potential defensive, and then you have nothing for his undead cape. Your E has better cooldown than most of the defensives in game. So let's say someone has Guardian Helmet, Cleric Robe. Yes, he has Guardian Helmet for 1 E, you quickly pierce through it, he goes for Cleric Robe, you purge that, but he has Undead Cape. Nothing to do. You can't run away from reds, it has pretty nice catching potential though. It is really high skill sailing weapon with low dismounting potential as the only playable, the highest playable build in Mists for one-handed dagger is the Helmet of Valor, Hunter Jacket, Torch, Ava Cape, Bridgewatch Cape, Undead Cape, Martlo Cape, you name it, any cape you can play it, and Mana Sandals, because you need the Mana Sandals. You will run out of mana. You can't dismount with that. You need to hit Shadow Edge. If you hit Shadow Edge, there is high chance you will dismount someone. But as soon as you dismount someone and he turns on you, you have no E, no Shadow Edge, probably no boots, and in 15 seconds you will get punished. If the enemy has any kind of defensive, let's say Mistwalker Jacket, your next E is counterable, and you are dead. That's why one-handed dagger, definitely not S tier, definitely not A plus tier. Dagger, let's put him on A tier. Dagger is really good versus light crossbow. Let's put him in front of the light crossbow, and better escape potential than the light crossbow, definitely. Let's go to Chill Hovel, guys. Chill Hovel has probably one of the best skill to reward ratio. As soon as you are S tier on Chill Hovel, there is nearly nothing which can kill you. Bad thing about Chill Hovel is you also can't kill anything. If you want to commit into the fight, that means you need to use W into the enemy. As soon as you want to W into enemy, he can turn back into you. If he has any kind of dashing from the E, he's staying on you and you are dead. If it had better dismounting potential and better catching potential, I would put it higher. Variability, not that great. Basically, you only play Purity Caval Cultist Draw, Purity Caval Assassin Jacket or Purity Caval Face Killer Rope because you need something to keep the enemy in the combat if he wants to disengage. Guys, where we should put Chill Hovel? I would say, let's not talk about being in good hands or being in bad hands. Let's talk general public. General public, I would say it's A tier. Let's put it somewhere in middle. Yeah, let's put it somewhere in middle. One-handed frost. Same as Chill Hovel. Legit, same as Chill Hovel. You use W into the enemy and the enemy can punish you greatly. Good thing about one-handed frost is it has a little bit more versatility in builds. It has better dismounting potential. It has immediate E, which is immediately rooting the enemy and immediately damaging the enemy therefore. And is also way cheaper. One-handed frost has definitely lower skill ceiling than Chill Hovel, so I would say it's better than Chill Hovel. Let's put it also on A tier and in front of Chill Hovel, let's say even in front of Battle Axe. Okay, last weapons, let's go. Bloodletter used to be here, it received E nerf, it received W nerf, the Stalker Jacket nerf is coming next patch because we are speaking about next patch. Stalker Jacket is going to be borderline unplayable version on Bloodletter. Still, it will be playable for Gear Crutchers in 8-3, getting the tier 8 and 8-1 kills here and there, but for now, I am going to put Bloodletter a little bit lower. It has quite high skill ceiling because a lot of people think like Bloodletter is easy to play. I would say it's the same as Double Bladed used to be. You need to know when you go in for the trade, when you go out for the trade. You need to keep something to get out of the trade in order to go in for the trade. So you have a way to escape if enemy goes for any kind of defensive. So let's put Bloodletter on the end of A plus tier because I have no idea how it is going to be playable in next patch with Face Scale Rope or with Armor of Valor and Chainslash version because it still has really nice dismount, really nice escape. We will see what will be the variability right now about, and it is quite fun weapon to play. Daybreaker, guys, yeah, I will put Daybreaker on S tier because let's go speak about the skill ceiling. It has actually quite high skill ceiling, but it's definitely not the toughest weapon in the game. Fun? I think everyone who ever touched Daybreaker loves that you have Purge every 17 seconds. Legit, every 17 seconds. You play Torch, which is giving you cooldowns. You play Eels as preset food and you have Pure Mist swap for Snapper users. It's a really fun weapon. And Spare is always going, like, Spare is never going to be worse than A tier because of the W range of abilities. So, escape potential on Daybreaker, you should always play it on Duskweaver helmet. You can have Fiend Cavalier helmet of Valor or swap. If you play higher tier, you should always have the swap, because if you go versus Carving or versus another Brawler, the helmet of Valor is the thing which is going to make you win. So with Duskweaver helmet and the E, it is pretty nice to escape. Dismounting potential, let's be honest. If you play the Duskweaver helmet and you play the presetted Cripple, you are not going to dismount many things. Variability, as I said, Duskweaver helmet, helmet of Valor, Fiend Caval. I can even see Cultist Caval Daybreaker work. You can play Facebreaker, you can play Torch. I can even see how Mistcaller Daybreaker can be working if you play the Kiting Daybreaker. You can play Tenacity Jacket, you can play Mistwalker Jacket, you can play Assassin Jacket on Inferno, Stalker Jacket no longer, of course. I think we will even see some Armor of Valor Daybreakers, because imagine, you go Daybreaker, Armor of Valor, Pure Mist. Bro, your HP is going to be insane. You are going to be tanky AF, tanky AF. There is not much things that can kill Daybreaker, but also not much things you can kill as a Daybreaker on Armor of Valor, but still, it would be highly playable. So, Daybreaker is definitely right now S tier in meta. I would put it behind the Carving and behind the Deadgivers, because Carving and Deadgivers can choose what they want to fight. Daybreaker needs to be lucky with the fights. Okay, let's go one-handed spare. A friend of Daybreaker, high versatility, kinda good escape, or actually good escape if you pair it with Cripple. It has nice versatility with many jackets, offhands, helmets, boots you can play. You can play plate boots, leather shoes, you can play torch, you can play facebreaker, I can see even working the mana sandals with Moizak on spare. Stalker jacket used to be playable, but it's not going to be playable after next patch. So there is a lot of versatilities. You don't have many counters because of the spares W. You play versus fire, you go deflect. You play versus something where you don't need to use the cripple, you go for impaler. You play versus kiting builds, frost, chill level, you go harpoon, and you are always presetting on cripple. So the versatility on W will always put spare high. Bad thing about spare is your E deals no damage with 0, 1 and 2 stacks. Ideally, you need to play Stalker Hood so you have any kind of lethality versus Pure Mist users on Undead Cape, and you are losing stacks as soon as you cast your E. It's immediate cast, that's good. It's also CCing the enemy for a while by throwing them in the air, so you can even use it as an interrupt, which Daybreaker, for example, can't. But you need to restack again. Daybreaker can stick on enemies and brawl them because he always has 3 stacks. Spare will have 1, 2, 3 stacks, 1, 2, 3 stacks, 1, 2, 3 stacks. That's why you never can put spare on the same level as Daybreaker basically right now. So where are we going to put the spare? I would go for high A tier, even in front of dual swords. Why I can't put it here? Okay, let's put it like that. We are going to right now speak about one-handed fire, one-handed cursed and wildfire. It's basically the bane of mists. cheap set, always you see it in low tier, can't go for a fair 1v1 because you have no mobility, so you need to always be sure that your enemy is basically trying to murder you but not realize that you are actually the one murdering them. You need to play gigaton of defensives on all of them. They usually go with Martlock Cape, they usually go with Cleric Robe, they go with Guardian Helmet, they use Firewall, they use Guardian Boots, sometimes even fucking swapped on Giga Potion. Some Pepegas use Demon Boots or Soldier Boots to actually catch up with the enemy to go for the finisher. Apart from Cursed, if we're speaking one-handed fire and Wildfire, you should never bravel them, but they are never ever going to catch you. It is a really nice meta to play for low tier, let's say tier 4 up to tier 7 to tier 8 if you want to get easy money. I would say Fire and Wildfire is always going to work best. Tier 4 to tier 7, OC prepared and just look for dummies who are going to fight you. Let's put it on B tier because it has no dismounting potential, no escaping potential, no variability. Fun is in the toxicity of the game style of the Wildfire and One-Handed Fire, and it has absolutely no skill ceiling. That's why I'm putting it on B tier and not on fucking F tier because I hate the two weapons. I'm sorry, dear Fire Staff users, but there is only a slight amount of players who can play it in high tier and actually go for the risks there. And One-Handed Curse, I would probably put it on one tier lower because it is not that great in 1v1 because anyone with any kind of defensives is going to counter your E. You have even lower catching potential and it's basically just currently a rating weapon. Okay, now we go for the Prowling, Primal and Infinity Blade. I'm getting tired. Prowling was nerfed to the ground. Right now, probably the only playable set on Prowling. You can still play it on Mistwalker Jacket, but versus good players you will eventually die. Your Banes are reflects because the true damage is reflectable and most of the people are keeping the defensives and reflects for the true damage. You are super glass cannon in your form. You have great catching potential, great dismounting potential. It is a high skill ceiling, kinda low on variability, really still playable on plate. So let's say Armor of Valor. Most of the users who are playing Prowling are playing it right now on Armor of Valor. It has a nice running away potential from reds because of the E invisibility and potential of breaking ankles of the people. And with Armor of Valor you can actually go for 2 executes during the fight, but the nerfs to Qs, Ws, and E form W and Q are just too much to put Prowling higher than A tier right now. In general, public I would say it's somewhere in the end of the A tier, in front of these 3 weapons though. Now let's go for the last, not least, weapon, boys. Infinity Blade, the only weapon which is going to end our S tier. I don't see a reason why Infinity Blade would not be playing in S tier. We can talk about the... let's even put it here, because it is probably better than all of these weapons, and it is the reason why you see so many 6-4-8-3 Infinity Blades right now in Mists. It doesn't require that high skill ceiling, it travels greatly, it has nice mobility with the E, it has nice mobility with the Royal Boots, although don't play Royal Boots on lower tier, you will get punished for that. It is actually fun to play, I would say, at least when I played the Infinity Blade, I really enjoyed the game style, the brawliness and the tankiness the Facebreaker version allows you. It has nice escape potential because you should usually play it on Duskweaver helmet as a preset and have a Helmet of Valor as a swap, same with Daybreaker. It has really good dismounting potential with Royal Boots, even without Royal Boots, because if you go for E plus Boots, you have nearly guaranteed W hit, and with the E you are dismounting anything, so it is one of the best weapons in terms of dismounting. Variability is not that great. You basically always play Stena Jacket or Inferno Shield, doesn't matter what jacket you play Inferno Shield. If you play Tenacity Jacket, you can swap to Tenacity Jacket ability. It was used with Stalker Jacket, is not going to be used with Stalker Jacket anymore after the next nerf. And if you put average Johnny on Infinity Blade, I think still he will have great success. Only bad thing is it is quite hard to learn the Infinity Blade and not bleed money, because right now it is one of the most expensive weapons, and there is a reason for it. Because as soon as you know how to play Infinity Blade, you are basically printing money in Mists. So yeah, let's sum it up. This is the tier list, boys. S tier, Infinity Blade Carving, Deadgivers, Daybreaker being the last because he can't dismount that easily as the previous 3 weapons. A plus tiers being Bracers, I put them there just with Shoes of Tenacity, the Tenacity spell, so you can get countered with someone budging your E basically. Great Hammer, Tomb Hammer, Plate, tanky, mobility, Feast of Avalon, mobility, Badon because of not being reflectable in next patch, and then A tier, basically any other weapon which is played in Mists, which has at least some mobility, or it is really strong in 1v1 potential.